Shabbat Smart Hot Water Controller. In this video we will look at the setup where we have two hot water cylinders where both of them operate on a weekday, and in Shabbat mode only one of them operates. Before we start, worth mentioning, if you're watching this video on YouTube, make sure to set the resolution to 4K so you can see the diagram properly. So looking at the system, we have over here a boiler which has flow and return pipes connected to two cylinders. The right cylinder here is for use on weekday only. The left cylinder will be used on weekday and on Shabbat. We can see over here that we have on the piping a hot water outlet pipe from the 7-day cylinder and a hot water outlet pipe from the weekday cylinder. We have here a motorized valve off the weekday cylinder, which we will open it on weekdays and it will be closed on Shabbat. So on Shabbat we only getting water from this cylinder, the left one. Cold water inlet, here it goes, and we add in a pipe from the outlet back into the inlet, which we also add a circulation pump, a bronze circulation pump on it. This pump will be used by the controller to mix the water in the tank whenever is required, mainly on Friday when the system prepares the tank for Shabbat mode. In addition, off the outlet over here where we have the circulation, we add another pipe off it that goes into a motorized valve, and from there to the drain or to a rainwater harvesting tank, and this is used in order to release water into the drain when needed to cool it down before Shabbat if the mixing is not enough. So this is the piping side. Now let's have a look at the electrics. So we'll start with the board and look at the top of the board. We have a connection for triggering Shabbat or weekday mode. This is a 2-contact terminal where if the terminal is closed, it will be on Shabbat mode. If the link is open, it will be on weekday mode. You can connect to it either a on-off switch, or you can connect it a Wi-Fi switch and then switch it on and off automatically. You can also do that with a Shelly switch that we supply, and that will be based on timing in relation to sunset on Friday and on Shabbat. Then we have 3 water temperature sensors. In this setup we will use all 3. One will be a tank temperature sensor, another one a pipe temperature sensor, and a branch temperature sensor. Shortly we will look at where we connect them and what they do. On the right hand side we have the power supply for the board itself, to power the board. And this is a 9-volt power supply, 9-volt DC. Here we see coming in plus and minus, and we also have an output that this is bridged to, which we can then use for the kitchen LED. Kitchen LED, we will have the positive coming into the common connection on the relay, and then an outlet on normally open. Each one of the relays is common, and this is normally closed and here is normally open. So we can have them then connected, so whenever water is in Shabbat mode and the water is ready, the LED kitchen will illuminate. Now let's look at the high voltage side. So we have here the power input. We put the live and a neutral. The neutral is bridged directly to the outlet, where we then have a terminal block for all the neutrals. You connect the terminal block and you connect it to all the different items that require the neutral. The live comes in, goes into a 10 amp fuse, and then straight back out. The purpose of this fuse is to protect the board from overcurrent. So the outlet, we will then take it and we will daisy chain it to the common on the mode relay, on the Shabbat demand relay, on the mixing pump relay, and on the relief valve relay. Now let's look at the wiring out of it. So we will start from the left, and we will see the relief valve. Whenever the Shabbat controller requires opening the relief valve, it will send down the live that comes in from the common. It will send it down the normally open contact into the cable, picking up the neutral from the terminal block, going down to the valve. It will open the valve will release some liters of water, and then it will close down. Mixing pump, when the controller wants to mix the water in the tank, it will again energize the relay to allow the live to go out into the cable together with the neutral and operate the pump, the circulation pump. Remaining, we need to look now at the demand, which is really this area of the system. So let's have a look at it. We will start on the weekday mode. On a weekday mode, when the controller is in weekday set, the power coming in will go out into the normally closed connection. Here we have a hot water programmer, which could be any time switch of any sort, where it gets neutral directly from the terminal block, live from the normally closed connection on the mode, which will be active on weekday, will be deactivated in Shabbat mode. And weekday it's active, the live comes in whenever the program calls for hot water. The switched live will then come out together with the neutral into the cable. It will go to two different places. One, as we see here, it's going to go straight down to the right motorized valve. The motorized valve, on the way to the motorized valve, the live will pass through the cylinder stat. Here we can increase it a bit to show it a bit clearer. So we'll go through the cylinder stat and come back out into the motorized valve. When the motorized valve will be fully open, the volt-free connection on the motorized valve will close and close the contact for the boiler demand. The second connection will be going to a field supply relay or contactor, where it will energize the coil in order to close the contact between the COM and normally open. In addition, you will put a bridge, a link of the live into the common. When it's then in weekday mode and energized, it will then pass on the live to the second tank, to the cylinder start, and out into the motorized valve. And obviously the motorized valve, when it's fully open, it will demand to the boiler. So this is how we connect the weekday terminals. In addition, on the weekday, we can see that the live coming out from the relay also goes into another cable which powers this motorized valve. So during the weekday, it will open this motorized valve, so hot water comes from both cylinders. Now we will look at Shabbat mode. So in Shabbat mode, as we said, the mode relay will be activated, and therefore it will disconnect the normally closed. So the weekday programmer is not going to energize anything anymore. And now the Shabbat relay, whenever the controller wants to call for hot water to be generated, the controller will close the contact from the incoming live into the normally open, which will go together with the neutral into a cable, which will go down to the cylinder stat, and then from the cylinder stat back to the motorized valve. And again, the normally open connection, the volt-free connection on the motorized valve will, once it's open, it will call for the boiler demand. So this is how it's going to operate on Shabbat mode. Now let's have a look at the 3 temperature sensors that we said we have at the top. So we have a tank sensor, a pipe sensor, and a branch sensor. Very important to have each cable in the right place connected. The temperature sensors themselves, we have one sensor on the tank, one sensor on the outlet pipe, and another sensor on this setup on the branch, a branch sensor, right after the T where the pipes coming from both cylinders meet. The purpose of this sensor is to ensure that if for any reason the system is in Shabbat mode and hot water is coming out at high temperature over here, which means that this valve is for any reason not closed, this will notice it. It will switch off the system and put on the screen of the device a notice alarming that it switched off due to high temperature, and please contact an engineer. There's a detailed video of how to connect those sensors, where to place them and how to place them. It's crucial to watch this video, and very important that a Shomer Shabbat should witness the position of those sensors before the insulation is put over them. So this is the setup of a Shabbat hot water using 2 cylinders, 1 7-day cylinder and 1 cylinder for weekday only. Thank you for watching.